I'm so excited to see you, although I was concerned, very concerned, is probably more apropos that you were still going to be in mourning. I know how saddened you were to learn that Mitch McConnell was stepping down as leader. And I thought, I don't know this is going to work out. The team and I were like, hey, maybe Grant needs a few days.
Yeah.
Let's pump the brakes and send him like some flowers or something. How are you taking this? That McConnell's...
I think I needed a few days, but now is good. Party is tonight. We're having a giant celebration. I'm throwing a goodbye Mitch party. And so, the opposite, not mourning, celebrating. I was wondering where you were going with this.
I know. And I think for people who don't necessarily watch who maybe are listening to the audio version, like that's a joke. Like, yeah. I don't think Grant Stinchfield was leading the parade.
Yes.
Do you think it was funny? John Thune, the number 2, the whip, endorsed Trump like right after South Carolina. And they kept saying, well, now McConnell's the holdout. Do you think that this was just him saying, I don't want to deal with Trump. I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm out.
Yeah, I have no direct insight into what was going on between the McConnell team and the Trump team. But I had been reading some articles, even some obscure articles about Mitch McConnell and the Trump team were in negotiations on how to get Mitch McConnell to come out and endorse President Trump. But what I've been saying is you don't need it. Even if he is the leader of the United States Senate, President Trump doesn't need Mitch McConnell's.
I don't know why. I'm with you. I'm like, why is the president asking for endorsements from people? Like, I got to be honest with you. South Dakota, John Thune state, going for Donald Trump. It's the opposite. Thune needs Trump. Trump doesn't need Thune. And I was like, why do you care? I mean, I get it. They want to make it like 100% or something. But I was like, why do you care? You don't like Mitch McConnell. Why do you want his endorsement?
I'm not sure President Trump is actively engaged in all of that. I think he's probably got a team that's working on it. Part of the campaign is collect as many endorsements as you can. And then it gets caught up with the bigger names you get. Ultimately, I think President Trump probably, if somebody's on the fence, maybe it's a phone call from him. If you want to endorse somebody, it's always nice to be asked by the guy you're going to endorse, hey, would you endorse me? But President Trump's at another level, really. I mean, if anything, they should be asking President Trump for his pat on the back.
So here's the thing. Obviously, among the MAGA world, there's not a lot of love lost with Mitch McConnell. Okay.
There's no love lost.
Okay. Thank you for being a little bit more explicit. But here's the deal. As a guy that was in the White House, the one thing you have to say about, I was reading one of the stories when he announced it, right? And we would not have Justice Gorsuch without Mitch McConnell. Okay. Yeah. We would probably not have the other justices if it wasn't for Mitch McConnell. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's so you cannot like him. But there is something about he remember, Obama wanted to get that seat, Garland. He wanted Garland in that seat that's from when Scalia had passed. And it was McConnell that said, no way, I'm actually going to hold this open. And I guess my point is, as much as he might have been a thorn in Trump's side, isn't there some degree of he actually did get a lot done for the Trump agenda and for...
Sean, I mean, you know what? I tell my 14-year-old son, you don't get rewards for expected behavior. I mean, you or I could have been the leader of the Senate Republicans, and we would have been able to do exactly what Mitch McConnell did in those situations. This wasn't like some great strategizing, maneuvering. We're giving him a pat on the back and saying, way to go, Mitch, because we were never confident he would do it. Because he was so squishy and wishy-washy and so beholden to the establishment and the deep state that we didn't know he'd have the backbone to actually do what is right. But if you or I were in there, it would have been a no-brainer. And yet we're giving him kudos as if he deserves a trophy for getting Justice Gorsuch seated. I disagree. I think it's expected behavior, and anybody that was good would have done the same thing.
That's a fair point. I mean, I think that part of this is you're basically trying to give someone compliments for something that was their job. It's like, congratulations for doing what you were supposed to. The at least early narrative, they call it 3 Johns, which, only in Washington is that something that you want to say. Thune from South Dakota, who's the current whip. Cornyn down there in Texas, where you are, who was the former whip. And then John Barrasso of Wyoming, who is the House Republican chair. Now, do you care who replaces him? Or do you have a
Yeah, none of
favorite?
those guys would be my choice.
Right.
I mean, none of them. So you want to talk about no love lost with the MAGA crowd? Those guys you named, really, they're establishment guys. John Cornyn, I'm in Texas. I've been in Texas 20 plus years. John Cornyn is such a disappointment. You have the backing of strong conservatives in this state. Whatever the left wants to tell you about Texas going purple, it's not. This is a deep red state, and the people that are involved in Republican politics are deep red conservatives. You have the backing. You could be a strong Ted Cruz style conservative, and yet John Cornyn isn't, because he thinks he could buy himself power in Washington, which quite frankly he did. He bought himself personal power in Washington by cozying up to the establishment crowd of Mitch McConnell. Thune is the same way. And so none of these guys would be my choice. I'd love to see Mike Lee or Ted Cruz, or, even, I don't know, Senator Cotton. It's one of these guys.
Well, Cotton says he's considering a run. And the thing that's interesting is they all play this game where, one or the other one moves up, if you will, and then maybe Cotton, I'm like, that's great. The real power is at the top. I'm with you. Why don't we get Ron Johnson has said that he'd be,
great.
Right.
I can't believe I didn't even name him. He's probably my favorite of everybody.
I just wonder, it'll be interesting to see where they end up, because I've always said this about, and I say this jokingly, obviously, but when people are thinking about being vice president or being considered, I said, I hope you've watched the Mike Pence movie, right? This is how it ended.
Right.
And so if you want to be the Senate leader post McConnell, and you saw how Trump and McConnell interacted, you better be ready. I mean, to your point, if you're not happy with the MAGA crowd and the MAGA agenda, I don't know that you should put your name forward, because this is what you're going to get. And this is what, to your point, this is what is going to be expected of you.
Yeah. And especially now that President Trump has all but locked up the nomination.
Yeah.
So if somehow some other person would have won this, you maybe could have made an argument, okay, Republicans turned their backs on President, but that's not what happened. He's winning now 60, 70, 80% of the vote in all these primaries. This is a Make America Great Again conservative Republican Party. That's who will soon control this Republican Party. I say it's been taking us a long time to wrestle control from the Ronna McDaniel crowd. So now we got her stepping down. We got Mitch McConnell stepping down. This is all moving in the right direction to set this up, to put the Republican Party back in the hands of the people that really work for the Republican Party. And that is the grassroots activists that call themselves America First conservatives.